So, talk about a roller coaster ride this week for the stock market with a pretty exciting finish. And you guys saw Wednesday we had the 90-day tariff pause, which caused the market to go crazy. Thursday, yesterday, we cooled off a little bit. And today we ended off the week strong. Friday, today, we went up across the board on a lot of these, all the indexes and a lot of stocks on my watch list, which I want to just cover in this video. I want to break down some stocks I'm watching, the indexes, where I see things moving forward. But first, hit the like button. Do not forget to subscribe, follow along for more content, and join the free email newsletter where I send out my top stocks weekly. That is linked down below. Put your first name and your email address. Again, it's free. Link down below. Get in there, guys. And now let's dive into it. So markets closed about 30 minutes ago, and we had a beautiful green day across the board, which is nice. It's refreshing considering, again, we've been downtrending, crashing, whatever you want to call it, over these last couple of weeks. So today we had the S&P up 1.8%. Same with QQQ. The Russell went up 1.6%, and the Dow Jones went up about 1.5, 1.6%. And we're not fully breaking out yet by any means, but again, it's refreshing to see a green day considering how bad things have truly been out there. And you can see for yourselves, we're not, again, breaking out by any means on the 4-hour time frame on SPY. We're still in this downtrend. I guess we do have a bit of a cup and handle kind of forming here, which is nice, but we're still under this 180 moving average, which needs to break, whether it's, next week, the week after, whatever, but it has to break for this overall downtrend to break, which who knows when that's going to happen with the trade war, the negotiations going on right now. When is a deal gonna be met? We have no idea. So we really have no clue what's going on there with the U.S. and China. But that's what it's going to take for this to break out, for this stock market to really start to reverse, for us to get a deal between the two big powers, the biggest powers in the world, the U.S. and China. Forget about Bangladesh or Sri Lanka or these other countries. Not that they don't matter, right? But it all comes down to the U.S. and China, the two big dogs. Those are the countries that really matter in this trade war, especially when it comes to the stock market. That's what the stock market is waiting for, a deal between these two countries. And until we get a deal between these two countries, the two mega powers of the world, I don't really see this fully breaking out yet. I could be wrong. I don't know. But we had a nice green day, but we're not fully breaking out yet. Not to say there's not going to be more upside in the short term. There could be on Monday, Tuesday. Who knows? We could start pushing more. But for a full-on reversal back towards all-time highs, to hit all-time highs, we're going to need a deal. And who knows when that's going to happen. So SPY went up 1.8%. Little cup and handle action here, but still very much in a downtrend. Same with QQQ. These look the same, essentially. We're right under that 180 moving average here. Still in a downtrend on the 4-hour time frame. But we do have a cup and handle. Interesting. Very interesting here. We'll see how that plays out. But again, I just don't see it fully playing out for this to break out until we get some sort of deal. What do you guys think about that? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And that's not like some groundbreaking opinion. I mean, we all pretty much think the same thing on that. Let me know if you disagree in the comments down below. And I mean, forget a deal, or not forget a deal, but the market would really go crazy if Trump just dropped tariffs in total, which I doubt he's going to do. That would be the weakest move from his perspective, right? Because he's kind of positioned himself like this, super strong guy that's going to, fight the world, fight China, take back what's the U.S. is, in other words, bring manufacturing back. So for him to just drop tariffs altogether, I just don't see that happening. I think that would be pretty weak from the U.S.'s standpoint, from his standpoint, especially with how strong of a stance he's taken. But it's going to come down to a deal then. If they come down to some sort of mutual agreement, that's what it's going to take here. So let me show you some stocks that moved like crazy today. We had Chewy and Groupon go nuts. Chewy went up around 6.4% today, and it's on the verge of breaking out. We're at $34.65 as of close today, and we're about to break out of my $35 alert. You guys see that $35 alert I have set, which has been the high now for about a month, and this was the high from back in the end of November, early days of December as well, actually end of December as well, before we ran all the way to $40. So I'm eyeing up Chewy here, maybe for a breakout above 35 for a play to $40 a share. I think that could be an interesting gap to fill here on Chewy, but keep in mind we also have potentially a Head and Shoulders in play here, which would play out if we fail to break $35. That's kind of a moment of truth spot for Chewy. If we fail at 35, this could easily dump off, but keep in mind we break 35, boom, we might fill this gap right to $40. So watch Chewy. Keep your eyes on Groupon as well. This is a high short interest stock we've covered on this channel a couple of times, and it's been on fire the last couple of weeks. I mean, this thing is up from $10 just a month ago. It was at $10. Now we're at $19 a share. And Groupon's short interest, I think, last I checked, was 40%, which is very high. Needless to say, that's very high. And it's catching fire again today. We actually took out the highs from the end of March. Now we hit $19 today, closed above it as well. So I think this one is a nice momentum play heading into next week, especially in these crazy markets that we've been in. And believe it or not, guys, GameStop has been holding up as well. Not too bad the last couple of weeks. We had a pretty green week this week for GameStop, and today it went up 5.5%. And now we're testing, let me extend this to the right. You guys can see we're kind of breaking out of this channel, not fully, but it looks like it's going in the right direction. And you guys know GameStop, they're buying Bitcoin now with some of the cash they have. They might actually, I think they are issuing debt as well to buy Bitcoin, which I don't necessarily agree with. But since we got that news, the stock's kind of been rebounding, or actually it's been all over the place. I think it dumped off right after we got the news that they might issue debt to buy Bitcoin. But since then, it's come up a little bit. Now we're back to the mid-20s like that. So if this starts to move next week, Monday, Tuesday, keep your eyes on $29-30 a share. We hit that point right after earnings about 2 weeks ago. That could be where it goes next. And if it breaks $30, well, we might be going higher. You guys know how that goes. So that's GameStop, GME. Let's see what other stocks moved nicely today. JP Morgan, we covered that earlier this morning. They reported earnings. Banks are starting to report, guys, which means it's earnings season. Again, officially, earnings season is here, baby. Let's go. And Apple, which got bludgeoned the last couple of days, I guess about a week ago, and earlier this week, rebounded again today. Nice 4% move on Apple, which they have a lot of their business in China. Obviously, they're transitioning to India, which I was reading earlier. The U.S. Trump's coming to some sort of agreement with India on a deal, which is good. But again, China's the top dog that we got to get a deal with. Who knows when that's going to happen, but Apple would be a big beneficiary, or a big benefiting company in the short term from a deal with for sure China, obviously, but India as well. India as well for sure. So that's going to be good. To see what comes of that over the next couple of weeks. We can see that The stock, like a lot of stocks out there, it's still in a downtrend, but this could easily be a stock that goes back to the, low mid 200s once this whole trade war kind of blows over, whether it takes a couple weeks, a couple months, whatever. Apple's going to be one of those stocks that snaps back aggressively, but the question is, when will that be? We really don't know. Obviously, nobody knows. And if you know, if you have a crystal ball, let me know in the comments down below, please. I'd love to know. So let's see what else moved today. A lot of these chip stocks moved, these AI stocks. Let's see. NVIDIA, which we covered earlier, ARM Holdings had a pretty good day, but the stock is still in a downtrend, not looking the best overall. Amazon, on the flip side, is looking interesting here. We're trying to get back over this mid 180s, 190 resistance, which I don't know if we're going to break out considering the overall market sentiment right now, but I've been buying Amazon these last couple of weeks, especially when it got down to the 170, 180 area. I was buying a good chunk under 172, but we're still in a downtrend. Keep that in mind. But Amazon's one that I'm definitely buying and will continue to buy the lower it gets, depending on, well, not even depending on how low it gets. This is one that I'll definitely buy, even if it somehow got down to like 120, 130, 140, especially if the fundamentals are still intact for the business and it gets down to that low of a stock price. I will be buying for sure. So with that being said, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Run the likes up. Don't forget to subscribe. Join the free email stock newsletter. That is linked down below. Put your first name and your email address, and boom, you guys are in there. And again, it's free. And with that being said, I'll catch you all in the next one.